Hey everybody, Prepper Nurse 1 here. Today is January 3rd. It is Thursday, 2018. What are you doing?
Say 18 or 19?
Oh, 2019. Thank you, Heather. Easy with the nails. So, Prepper Nurse 1 here with the White Devil. He is something. Anyway, so jump right into the topic of today's video. I'm going to turn this camera a little bit, I think, just so you guys can see. There we go. Okay. So, should people in the cities, what should people in the cities do when S.H.T.F happens, okay? So there's been a lot of discussion about this, and I've talked a lot about that if you can get out of the city before S.H.T.F happens, to do so. And obviously a lot of people cannot. So, what should you do? S.H.T.F happens, you're in the city. What should you try to be? What should you try to do? Now, read a lot of comments on different things that people have said and stuff like that. And I'm going to interject some of that into this topic. The last thing that you're going to really want to do at that point, you're going to have a mass exodus. I'm going to turn this just a little bit more. Okay, you're going to have a mass exodus of people trying to get out of the cities. Okay. And I'm using my coffee cup that my niece gave me again for Christmas, so I just want to show that again. I love that coffee cup. I think that's freaking hilarious. It says best cat dad ever, and it has the cat flipping you guys off. So anyway, so there's going to be a lot of people trying to get out of the city. Mass chaos. It would be just a really bad situation to try to be in at that point. My advice would be, at that point, if you're in the city, S.H.T.F happens, worst case scenario, as long as it's not like a direct nuclear hit or something like that on your city, okay? The best advice that I could give you would be to lay low. Try to ride it out as much as you possibly can, okay? There's going to be a lot of stuff going on. There's going to be a lot of murders and rapes and looting and all kinds of craziness going on. If there's any way that you can get someplace, lay low, try to keep a lowest profile as you possibly can. I think that a lot of the gangs are probably going to go, in the apartment buildings and go apartment to apartment and see what's there that they can take and use for themselves. So, if there's any way that you can get away someplace in the city that is, very low profile, the sewers. A lot of people, I know that a lot of the homeless people are in the sewers and stuff like that, so, those type of things. But if you can have supplies and you can lay low for a month, 6 weeks, most of the chaos at that point in the cities would pretty much be dying down. There would be control of areas and stuff like that at that point. Is it a good idea to try to get out of the city once S.H.T.F happens? I don't think so, and I'm going to tell you why. I did a lot of thinking on this, and like I said, again, looking at other comments, what other people have said, and this makes a lot of sense. Okay, so let's say we have. A lot of times I'll use a grid down situation. So it's a grid down situation, and people are trying to get out of the cities, and like I said, it would be mass chaos and stuff like that. So where are they going to go? Okay. Where are these people going to go, number one? If you don't have a specific bug out location in mind, then I definitely recommend that you stay put. Because a lot of people are just going to panic and try to get out, okay? What's going to happen to those people if they have no place to go? And there's so many people say, well, I'm just going to go off into the woods and I'm going to do this and that and the other thing. So let's talk about that for a second. So your game plan is you're going to get out into the country and live off the land and live in the woods and stuff like that. Well, what a lot of people don't realize, a lot of country folk are more of a conservative mindset. They're going to put a lot of the blame for whatever has happened on the liberals that live in the city. Now listen, conservative, liberal, they're Republican, Democrat, it doesn't really matter. And I've said this before. It's two feathers of the same bird, okay? So it's just a manipulation by the powers that be to keep us at odds against each other. That's all it really comes down to, because I have some liberal views and I have some conservative views. You know, so I mean, who, you know what I mean? It's just everybody's different. Nobody's straight down the line conservative, and nobody is straight down the line liberal. It doesn't work like that. But anyway, and I don't like to be labeled into one group or one category anyway, because I am a unique individual. So anyway, so what I think will happen is a lot of people that live in the country are going to blame a lot of whatever has happened on the people from the cities. They're not going to welcome people in the cities with open arms. This isn't the 1920s anymore, where the vagabonds would go around and they might do work for somebody and they give them a meal or whatever. This isn't the 1920s anymore. It's going to be a dog-eat-dog world once that happens. And do you think that somebody's going to be like, oh yeah, well, these city folks moved off into the woods here, and now they're hunting and eating our game and our fishing our rivers and eating our fish and using up our resources? Because that's going to be the mindset, guys. Wherever we are, like I'm in the country where I'm at, the mindset is going to be, this is ours, this is mine. We're not going to want to share that with everybody and their brother because they didn't prepare and they don't know what they're doing. Survivability out in the country for people that have no idea what they're doing is not going to be very good anyway, okay? And like I said, unless you have a certain location that you plan on going to and you have people there that are willing to accept you, the chances of you surviving are not really good at all. So your best bet, if you live in the city, is to lay low, try to ride out the storm, and there's a lot of resources that are still going to be available in the city after S.H.T.F. happens. There really will be. I mean, you know, people can get really ingenuitive as far as different things and stuff like that. And, you know, if you can get together with some like-minded people now in the city and plan on working together after an event happens, and the game plan is to lay low and try to ride it out and protect each other, that's probably a really good idea. Because, first of all, as far as the criminal element in the cities, even if you like your cities like Chicago or New York City that have all the strict gun laws, there's guns all over the place. So, you know, they're going to have their guns and their ammunition, and you know, the average citizen has been disarmed because he follows the law, you know. I mean, so it's a very, very tough situation. So trying to lay low if you can, keep that low profile, ride out that initial 6 to 8 weeks if you can, and then, you know, have enough supplies and stuff. You know, you're not going to want to do fires. You're not going to want to be trying to, you know, draw any attention to yourself if you can help it. So, I mean, if you can have, you know, energy bars and, you know, food that you don't have to cook in the beginning, and even if you do have to cook, you know, there's ways to cook on very stealthily. Okay, so, you know, having blackout windows and stuff like that so people can't see what you're doing on the inside there. Smoke's going to give people away. The smell of cooking is going to give people away. So you have to take those things into consideration as well. So where are you cooking? Like if you're in an apartment complex, maybe you go a couple floors over and up, you know, to do your cooking there, so that if somebody smells those smells, they're going to go there. They're not going to come to where you're located. You know, that's just one idea. But I definitely want to hear what your guys' feedback on the topic is going to be, because I think that it's really, really interesting, the dynamics of it. A lot of people are not going to leave the city because the city's familiar, the city's home, so it's comfortable there. And they're not going to want to get out into the country. It's scary. It's dark out here. There's no lights, you know, so it's a whole different mindset in the country as opposed to the city. It really, truly is. And that's not good, bad, or indifferent. It's just, it is what it is. And the people out in the country, I don't see them welcoming strangers with open arms saying, oh yeah, you know, come on in and we'll just take care of you. It's going to be a very, very difficult time. So you're going to want to try to survive what's coming. If you have a game plan in place and you know what you're planning on doing ahead of time, that's going to be very, very important. Okay. So now, I definitely, like I said, I want to hear what your guys' feedback on this topic is going to be. I think that it's an interesting topic. Should you bug in? Should you bug out? What should you do if you live in a city and S.H.T.F. happens? Maybe you had a game plan to get out of the city, but you weren't able to execute that plan ahead of time. what are you going to do? What are your plans? How do you plan on surviving at that point? I definitely want to hear, especially from the folks that watch my channel that live in the city, that don't have a bug out retreat to get to. What is your game plan? What are you planning on doing? And how do you plan on staying as stealth as possible? So today we had a dusting of snow overnight, and I was going to joke around. I was going to make a video saying a huge snowstorm hits the homestead. I mean, I'm talking we got like a dusting of snow. So it was, but I didn't do that. So, but I had a lot of running around to do today. So it was definitely, it was in the 30s today here at the homestead. I think we hit 35 degrees. So tomorrow's actually supposed to be, I think, 46 or 48 and sunny. So that'll be really nice to see. I'm looking forward to that. Tomorrow I am going to be running down to Lowe's and picking up some 3/8-inch plywood for the chicken coop. And so hopefully we can get that rocking and rolling here soon, because that was like the next thing that we needed to do was get the plywood for that. And so that's going to happen tomorrow. So actually it's going to happen really early in the morning. So get that done, and then we can get going on that chicken coop. And it's all right, Gelco. Oh, baby boy. So this is Gelco. Look at the colorings on this freaking cat. He's got the coolest colorings. Yes, he does. Yeah. So anyway, so I had a question the other day that somebody had asked, and they were like, you know, no judgment, I just want to ask and stuff like that. They saw the rainbow flag in my daughter's room, okay? So I got to tell you the story of the rainbow flag. So the Thomas and Camille are the couple that helped us move up here when we moved up to the property. And they'd been up a couple of times, you know, after that. And as a joke, because he knew I was getting people, asking people if they would send flags, and I would fly the flags. So as a joke, what he did, we had gone out, and they were in the area or something. And he had put a package on my motorcycle seat. And so I get back, and they had been here that day. And we had to go off, run off and do something. And so there's this package on my seat, and it was the rainbow flag. And it was, you know, he was busting my chops. He was joking. And here, fly this flag, you know, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, who knows where I am? Who came to my property when I wasn't home? So I called him first. And at first he was like, no, 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 it wasn't me. And then he realized how upset I was. And then he's like, no, it was me. I was joking and stuff like that. So Heather asked if she could have that flag because she supports gay rights. And I actually do as well. I have nothing against two adults that want to do whatever they want to do together, two consenting adults. That is their own business. And that's kind of how I feel. So there's my liberal side, if you will, because I'm not all anti-homosexual or lesbian. Like I said, what two consenting adults do behind closed doors is their own business, and it's nobody else's. So she asked if she could keep that flag. So if I'm panning around ever and you see that flag in her room, it's because she also supports, you know, human beings wanting to be together, you know, without judgment. So that's why that flag is there, and that's why she flies it. So I hope that explains that part of it. Okay, so let's see, what else shall we talk about? But like I said, as far as the topic of today, like I said, I definitely want to get your guys' feedback on that. I want to hear what you guys have to say. Like I said, I think it's an important topic. It needs to be discussed, and you know, people need to be aware, you know, of what they're going to do and have some kind of a game plan. It's so important to have a plan so that you don't just act, you know, or react, that you act. Okay. When things go south, it's going to be, in my opinion, like that. Okay. That's how quick it's going to be. 1 minute it's going to be normal. The next minute, complete and utter chaos. And when that does happen, then you're looking at a whole different ball game at that point. Okay. So people need to be aware of that. They need to have a plan in place so that there's not that panic when things go south. That they have a plan in place. Again, get as much food and water stored away as you possibly can. Increase your chances of survival over the greater amount of the population that have done nothing. It's very important in my opinion, okay? So anyway, guys, I'm going to jump off of here for now. Definitely looking forward to reading the comments and hearing the feedback. Somebody had asked me, because I don't answer a lot of comments anymore, and I just can't. There's just way too many, okay? But I do read all of the comments. I definitely read all the comments. I see what you guys have to say. I try to answer a few comments here and there. And then I'll bring things up in video when there's something that stands out to me, like the flag comment the person had asked. So I wanted to, share that with you guys. So anyway, remember, guys, we are all in this together. Okay, that is important to know. And remember, hug and kiss the ones you love. Tell them every single day. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. We never know what's going to happen. And remember, STD. It's one step at a time, one thing at a time, and one day at a time. Whatever you're trying to accomplish, whatever you're trying to do in life, like I said, doesn't necessarily have to be with prepping or living off grid. It's whatever your passion is, whatever you're trying to follow. You can do it. The only one that's going to stop you from getting there is yourself, okay? Another quick thing I wanted to mention real quick. Some people have asked what kind of stove this is. This is a Country Hearth stove. I bought it at Tractor Supply, okay? It works fantastic for us. It meets our needs. It's actually probably too big, to be honest with you, because we get it going sometimes and it gets way too hot in here. And, even right now we have windows open. So that's just what we do, okay? So anyway, guys, I hope everybody has a great day. I will talk to you all tomorrow. Prepper Nurse 1, out for now.